And while eminent Nigerians and pro-democracy activists are expected to lay wreath in honor of the late Chief Mashood Kashimawo or Lawale Abiola. Of course, to talk more on the June 12th Democracy Day, Executive Director, Center for Democracy and Development, Idayat Hassan, joins me now to shed more insight into all of this. Now, looking at June 12th Democracy Day, and of course celebrating it since 1993, how has this ensured that we as Nigerians have stuck to democracy since then?
Thank you very much, and happy Democracy Day. Importantly, it's been quite a long year, and one thing we have recognized so far so good is that the wars of democracy, call it hybrid, call it full democracy, is actually better than a military regime, as there are checks and balances in place. There is the judiciary, there is the legislature, which has continued to grow. So I think we should give ourselves a pat on the back. And also it's interesting and important that since 1999, we've had 6 other electoral circles happen. This will be the 7th, and this is like the longest unbroken run of democracy in the history of Nigeria. That itself is worthy of celebration. And we've come up, really, the kind of advocacy that was happening in the during the military era is now different from what has been happening since 1999. We've listened to Ayobe. We see now that we're actually pushing people more and more to participate in the whole democratic process. In reality, too, if you look at what has happened in the last 1 month, even the last 1 week, we are seeing people troop out to take their permanent voters card, but knowing that finally the PVC represents hope for a better Nigeria. So I think these are like positives that we couldn't have imagined. These are positives that we have seen happen in spite of the challenges in terms of economy or insecurity that we continue to grapple with at this point in time.
Okay, so looking at 23 years of uninterrupted, unbroken democracy, would you say Nigeria is now mature? Nigeria's democracy?
Yeah, I think that we remain a democracy, even though if it is flailing. Like we would like to call it, like it's just this democracy that is moving here and here like that, flailing. But important is the fact that we've had periodic elections. The question is if those periodic elections have been able to deliver the dividend of democracy in terms of public goods and services to Nigerians. And I'll say that that is something that is currently missing. People are yet to get what they want. They are yet to get that good roads in all parts of Nigeria. They are yet to have that potable water in their home, which is not just available to some few elites in Abuja and parts of Lagos, for instance. Security, which is very important because, in fact, it's the basic right every citizen wants. Even if you can't give them food, you should actually be able to secure their lives and property. I think those are missing itself. But I think we are on a road. It's a long run. And what we have even learned with what has been happening globally, taking the US as an example, is that democracy is not a given. It has to be nurtured. And the message today should be, how are we as Nigerians fighting to preserve this democracy and ensuring that it actually delivers the public goods and services that we yearn for to us?
Okay, so looking at the elections coming up next year, 2023, what lessons can we learn from the June 12th, 1993 election?
I think it has to do with, one, participation is very, very key. In the June 12 elections, one thing was important. Citizens trooped out to participate. Citizens believed in the process. Citizens voted based on issues, as well as political parties campaigning on issues. When the manifesto of the SDP and the NLC was quite there, and people could see what actually to choose, even not just about symbols of a, how do you call it, a horse for SDP, for instance. People knew what exactly they were voting for. And what was also important was, for the first time, people did not vote on where you came from. I think that was the most fascinating aspect of 1993 elections to us. People were voting based on capacity. when you look at the voting spread across the country. When you look at the mix and match of the candidate itself, we saw how SDP won in the whole of northern Nigeria, even though there was somebody from Kano also vying in that elections. Kano was an example. I think these are important lessons moving up and moving on for 2023 elections, that we have to vote based on issues. We have to vote not on primordial sentiments, because when you look at it also, the vote buying that we are experiencing currently was not prevalent. Maybe it was just delegates. Then the Electoral Commission also delivered credible, well-run elections, which I'm hopeful that this current INEC is also desirous of doing in the forthcoming elections.
All right, Executive Director, Center for Democracy and Development, Idayat Hassan, thank you very much for talking to us.